Section 3 of the Story of Santa Claus. This is a Librivox recording. All Librivox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit librivox.org. Read by Beeswax Candle. The Story of Santa Claus by William S. Walsh. Christ-kinkle and Christ-kindlein. I've now told you all that is known of the story of St. Nicholas during his lifetime, and even after his death. I think you will agree that we have not yet gone very far in identifying Santa Claus, the modern St. Nicholas, with the historic saint who was once Bishop of Myra. It is true that some learned men have thought to find in the legend of the three maidens an answer to a couple of problems that bother the inquiring mind. First, they explain that the three purses of gold, which in pictures by the old Italian masters figure as three golden balls, and which were looked upon as the special symbol or sign of the charitable St. Nicholas, are the origin of those three gilt balls which swing over a pawnbroker's shop in token of that wellspring of human kindness which has earned for him the affectionate title of uncle. If you have a fine sense of humour, you will see that the last sentence is sarcasm. And if you have small love for clever explanations that don't explain, you will reject this theory of the origin of the pawnbroker's sign and prefer to believe that it sprang from the gilt pills which adorned the shield of the great Medici family of Italy. Medici means doctors. Both the name and the shield were reminders that the family earned their first fame as physicians many years before they became the greatest princes and money changers of Europe. But the other theory, what of that? The other theory is more to the point. It assumes that the Saint Nicholas, who was Bishop of Myra, is the Santa Claus of modern Christmas, whom he prefigured in the fact that he appeared in the night time and secretly made valuable presents to the children of a certain household. Here is some appearance of truth. In the first place, there can be no doubt that Santa Claus and Saint Nicholas are the same name. Indeed, to this day our Christmas saint is known as either Santa Klaus or Saint Nicolaas, Klaus in Dutch being short and sweet for Nicolaus, and as such the same as our Nick for Nicholas. But after all, there seems to be little likeness in other respects between the saint of the legend and the modern patron of the Christmas scene. What connection is there between a single case of charity performed at no particular time with the splendid and widespread generosity of Santa Claus, who every Christmas Eve loads himself down with presents for the little ones he loves and finds means to distribute them all over the land in a single night? As the answer is not apparent on the surface, let us turn to the other legend. We shall have to confess, however, that the story of the three schoolboys miraculously restored to life after they had been cut up and soldiered down helps us even less than does the story of the three purses. It is simply one of a whole group of stories wherein St. Nicholas appears as the friend and benefactor of children. In this respect only does he resemble our Santa Claus. In all the characteristics which modern painters and storytellers in America, in Holland and in Germany have bestowed upon the jolly saint of the Christmas season, he differs entirely from the slender and even emaciated Nicholas, clad in the robes of a bishop, with a mitre on his head and a crozier in his hand, whom the early painters were fond of depicting. So the legends of St. Nicholas afford but a slight clue to the origin of Santa Claus. Alike indeed in name, but so unalike in all other respects. Let us turn elsewhere. In Germany, and to a certain extent in America, the name Christ-kinkle or Christ-kindlein is looked upon as another name for Santa Claus. But in fact, history teaches us that is a far different being, though the two have been welded into one in the popular imagination. A very small knowledge of German reveals the fact that Christ-kinkle is simply a corruption or mistaken pronunciation of the German word Christ-kindlein, which in English means Christ child. Now the connection of the Christ child with the gift-giving season is obvious enough. In the first place, he is the hero of Christmas Day itself. Born a human child, he ever preserved a great love for young people. "Suffer little children to come unto me," he said, "for of such is the kingdom of heaven." The old masters were fond of painting him as a child among children. In nearly all the famous pictures which Raphael, the greatest of Italian artists, painted of the Holy Family, or of the Madonna and Child, the infant Jesus is accompanied by the infant St. John as his friend and playmate. End of section 3.